Welcome everybody to the Lisa Parento Team Mastermind. I am so excited to be back. We kind of took the summer and another month or two off, but love being here. Love offering some, some value, some timely value to agents, both in our EXP family as well as realtors anywhere. Of course, we need it more than ever. Do me a favor, and folks that are coming in, make sure that you're muted as you come in. That would be really great. And if I can also ask you, let's start off by taking a deep breath together, turning off our phones, putting our phones down for a minute. If you're not on your phone, do yourself a favor and just be present here with us for the next hour. I know there's pressing things and we really appreciate your time, but let's start all by taking one deep breath together, clearing our minds and allowing ourselves to really be present, to open up our minds and set aside kind of what we think we know about business planning and goal setting, and remaining open so we can see some things new. So again, welcome so much for being here. I'm so excited. I'm excited because I love this time of year. We in the yoga world, we call this like the fertile void, where you're in kind of a space and it's kind of calendar based, but really it's like this little space where you have this opportunity to kind of review what's gone on the past year and really set up, and there's Robin, how lovely, really set yourself up for some goals, for some new ideas, for some new things that you might want to be pursuing next year. I especially love that time right before the last 2 weeks of December, where we're really entering into that new year, and because you can really readjust things and kind of start over. So I'm going to do a little piece on goal setting here in the beginning. Welcome everybody from our team. Raymar, I'm going to let you continue to bring people into the that are in the waiting room, please.
Okay.
And I'm going to start my presentation. I've got just a little bit on goal setting, and then I'm going to pass it over to Tom and Marissa. They have an amazing presentation on business planning. I also want to quickly, as I share my screen, which I will right now, I want to make sure that everyone knows, and we're going to put the link in the chat at the end of the webinar today, not now, because you'll start looking at everything. We have 14 or 15 assets in here for you, all kinds of templates, things to think about, ponder, contemplate. I do this every year for my team, and I wanted to share it with everyone this year. So that's available for you guys, and we're going to put that link on at the end of the presentation. So let me get started with my presentation. And it's just, listen, none of this is rocket science. You've probably heard all of this, but maybe this time somebody will hear something that lands a little bit differently for them. And I want to kind of throw out a couple of things and ask you to do kind of a few things. So the first thing I think we really need to do when we are thinking about our business planning is really looking at what we've done. I know my husband and I do this really great review kind of our relationship and about, we always do something on December 31st where we really look back different parts of our lives and we reflect, and then we kind of talk about what's going to happen in the next year. And I think it's hugely important. And the truth will set you free. Take an honest look back, right? So hold on, my screen is so, take this time to look back and review the whole year. Personal life review. Did you really take some time off? Or did you say you were gonna, and then you let, this showing and that client and all these things kind of pop up as we do? How about vacations? Did you take some vacations? I know Tom and Marissa Truong took a couple of amazing vacations, as all of a sudden I was seeing pictures from the Eiffel Tower. I was very excited. How about
And
some
Lisa, are you sharing a PowerPoint right now? Because we still see the My Drive 2024 business plan inside.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have been.
Yeah.
So let me stop
Thank
that
you.
so much. Yeah, I've been into my PowerPoint already. So here we go. Hold on. All right. Now are you seeing it? Okay.
Yeah.
So goal setting for 2024. Review, dream big, set goals, and take action. So again, reviewing is really where we're starting. And as I said, the truth will set you free. So starting your kind of, the first thing I think that's important, because right away we start going into transactions and numbers and wringing our hands over things we didn't do. I don't know, maybe celebrating some things that we did well. But start with your personal life, I think. Did you take time? What were you doing? And also beyond vacations, what about self-care? Did you do stuff to really take care of your physical, mental, spiritual self? Those things are important. Then, of course, you do want to look at transactions, and I'm going to show you an example of something that I look at every year. What are you analyzing? Are you analyzing your calls? Are you analyzing inbound calls? Are you analyzing your prospecting? Are you analyzing the your referral sources? Right? Like, what are you really looking at in your transactions? And then education. What did you do to improve your skill set as a realtor this year? If you're an EXP agent, did you take, and you went to EXPCon, did you take some of those, crash certifications? Or did you take some other kinds of things? What about webinars like the one you're on today? Thank you so much. And thank yourself for being here today. Workshops, that kind of thing. And then team building. Are you, as part of your business model, growing your organization? What are you doing? What growth activities did you participate in? What growth activities did you initiate? So, what did you do well when you look at that list? Because you need to congratulate yourself and celebrate. But where could you use some improvement? And where's that gap? What's that gap? Tony Robbins talks about that gap all the time. What is the gap between the now piece of it and where you want to be? Is it big? Is it small? Do you don't spend a lot of time getting down on yourself for the gap, but think about that gap. Why is it there? And what can you do differently next year to make that gap a little smaller? So one of the things I do, and I just took a couple of years ago, one of the things I do is I have a spreadsheet every year. I have one spreadsheet, then I just add tabs to it. And I analyze every transaction. I have it but month by month and blah, blah, blah. But then I have another thing that I call source income. And I transcribe all of those transactions, and I look at where the leads came from. Because I'm fortunate that I live in a resort and second home community. So for me, referrals to beautiful Cape Cod are a huge part of my business, probably 80% of my business now, 90% of my business. They were not in 2020. Look at Realtor.com. I paid Realtor.com for a long time, a lot of money. I made a lot of money from Realtor.com too, though. 11 transactions in 2020. That was a lot of money. So but I dropped that. So I think, this is a hugely important thing for every realtor to think about: where did your business come from? So where can you spend your marketing dollar and your focus for next year? For me, my referral program, we send out this email every month to all of our referral clients that talks about the things that are coming up this next month on Cape Cod, the market activity. I put a little bit of, a little content in there. And I asked them first before, would you like to hear about Cape Cod? Well, so every month, people from all over the country are getting information about beautiful Cape Cod. I do a lot. I send Christmas gifts to these folks. Like, I really work with that referral, the agents that have referred me business. And I use that also for attraction stuff. And then EXP, that was huge. I just got two last week. This year, EXP referrals are off the chart. So I would be volunteering anyway. Those of you who know me know I'm a serial volunteer, but I really feel good about the volunteering I do in the EXP community, and for my referral volunteers, and for CRS, because that's another place for me that I really do receive business. So this is a very important piece. Hopefully you're doing this or something like this. I would just recommend it for sure. And then, in this time now, when you're in the fertile void and you don't have to be like dragged down by the stuff that Tom's going to talk about, like the businessy stuff, what let yourself dream kind of big. Tony Robbins says, be open to the unknown for next year. Have that mind of unknowing. When you have your ideas of what's going to happen, your mind becomes super focused. And when we're looking at action, that's important. But don't, Tony always talks about the tyranny of how. Don't let yourself fall into the tyranny of how now. Just have some, let yourself dream big. What does it all look like? Again, none of this is rocket science, but it's good reminders. Start with a why that's bigger than your net income. So, about the dreaming big, think about some of these things. What do you really value? Is it status? For me, getting icon was really important to do that for a couple of years and have ICON in capital letters next to my name all the time, right? That status was important to me. Now I'm thinking more about the leisure and spending time with my grandbaby Eloise, right? But so I think really letting yourself at this time just journal about these things. What activities help me feel the most alive? I'm terribly regretful I was just talking about it. One of the activities I love is something like a high energy MC event, like like I would be part of next week, and I'm gonna hopefully Tom and Marissa are gonna talk about a regional rally. But those things make me feel alive. Contributing in that way and sharing in that way and celebrating people and being at events and some people hate that. They'd rather croak. I love it. That kind of thing really makes me feel alive. How can I best contribute? I love to create events like this. And so these things I will build into my 12-month plan. Then what are your personal goals? What will you do more of? What will you do less of? I am personally really are trying. I'm trying to do more with some art, some more creative expression, some things that allow me to look in other parts of my brain. And think about your soft skills. Think about what kinds of things you're going to actually do to develop more of your soft skills. Soft skills meaning personal development, whether it's through certifications or taking, like I just finished a mindfulness certification. What kinds of things are you allowing for your individual personality to grow? Maybe it's success coaching. Maybe you'll think about success coaching. There's a lot of things that we have amazing access to post pandemic that we never did before. And then business goals. What are you going to do more of? What are you going to do less of? What target market are you going to serve? Everybody knows you can't usually serve 100 masters. Maybe you bring it down to 5. What is that market for you? What are you going to do to grow your skills as a realtor? And what are you going to commit to in order to grow your team? Something all of us need to honestly ask ourselves. So goal setting. I'm not going to go through this. We don't have the time today, but this is in the PowerPoint and that's in that folder. This is really great. Brian Tracy, who you've probably heard of, talks a lot about, doing like a stream of consciousness list and then identifying one thing. Also, you always set your goals as if they've already happened, kind of sort of that law of attraction thing. And then you take that list of 10, you circle your top one, you make it a SMART goal and believe it's yours. And I want to show you. So I have on here a worksheet about SMART. Everybody knows what the SMART goals is. I love the way this one was set. And what they're asking you to do is, identify. So I put a sheet in, I use this one that, asks you just four goals in your spiritual life, your personal life, your family life, your business, and your finances. Just stream of consciousness. Then you circle one in each one of those categories, one that really resonates the most with you, and then make it SMART. So be specific about what that goal is. Make sure you can measure whether you're achieving, what you're doing, what's the outcome, how can you measure it? Is it really realistic? Are you really gonna develop, 3 e-courses and publish, 2 books this year? Maybe. Will it really motivate you? Are you passionate about it or are you just putting it down on a piece of paper? Let it be something that you really care about. And then you need to timeline it. You've got to give yourself a timeline. So there's also, and I put this in here because I thought it was a really great way to look at these. Write down your goal, why it's important, gives you a checklist about SMART, potential blockers, always things that might be in your way, and then what are you going to do for actually getting it together? So just in closing, I love this quote. The primary reason for failure is that people do not develop a new plan to replace those plans that didn't work. So what are you doing? What will you do? When thinking about your goals now and your year ahead, what will you commit to in terms of accountability? So you're actually looking at the goals that you had and then reviewing those things. Is it an accountability partner? Is it your accountant? Is it another team member? Make a decision now to get that time frame together and be accountable so that you can adjust your sales and sales and just keep at it. I love this. And that's it. So I hope you got a little bit out of that in terms of like goal setting. Let me stop sharing my screen.
I love that. Hey, Lisa, before you start sharing, can you share that screen again? Share with that last slide again, because I want to comment on that. And then I'd like you to go up and I'd like to share two more slides. For everyone, that was Lisa Parento, our luxury agent out of Cape Cod, Massachusetts,
This
and also a 2-year icon. The one before that, the one before that. Lisa
oops, flip.
consistently,
Yeah,
yeah, there you go. Lisa consistently um, closes, let's call it 36 transactions, about 36 transactions a year. Never mind the referrals that she gets, that she gives out, right? And it has to do with her being disciplined and persistence, right? It's persistence, it's self-discipline in action. It's funny. I've been promoting this event along with Lisa and Raymar and Marissa and other team leaders probably for a good 2 long weeks. I've probably spoken with, let's call it, over 50 people. And I am not exaggerating when I say 50 people. And they all told me they're going to time block, they're going to put it in their calendar, and they're going to show up. And short of them having an emergency where someone's bleeding, someone's dying, someone's in jail, that they're going to be here. And lo and behold, there are 18 of us on here, which meant that 32, at least 32 others that I personally spoke with, told me that they were going to be here, told me that they were going to time block, and told me they'll make it a priority. Well, then what happened? So I want to congratulate Lisa, of course, for being here, for hosting this call with us. My wife and business partner, Marissa, for being committed. Garrett Yen, who's right here. His eyes are right on this screen. Thomas Gibson, the guy's a rock star, right? Mike Martell, he shows up. His camera is on. Nika shows up. Her camera is on. Mia Sotis told me this morning she's going to be here, and she's here. Sebastian Roy, nice to see you, man. Kareem Costanza, you're here, and your eyes are glued to the presentation. Jenny Tang, you're focused. Jake Rowe, you're focused. Not sure about anybody else. Maybe the videos are muted because they're multitasking or because they're just not in a position to hear. But thank you for the rest of you for being on this call. For the rest of you who's listening to this afterwards, um, try to have the self-discipline. The first thing of success, I believe, in all of us, the most important skill set that I've learned after 56 years of being alive now is don't disappoint yourself first. Forget about the rest of the world. The rest of the world will always disappoint us. Someone who will
mm,
say they're going to show up and they won't. Well, that's on them, not on you. Someone will tell you they'll be there for a party, they'll be there on vacation, and they cancel last minute because they can't afford it or some other reason, and they'll disappoint you, right? The weather will disappoint you. Your tires might blow out and disappoint you. Your company might go bankrupt and you might lose your job, and that's out of your control. But your calendar, the words we say to ourselves, that I will be there, and then we end up disappointing ourselves first and foremost, that's the one that hurts the most. If there's anything else you're going to leave from today's call, stop disappointing yourself. If you're going to
mm.
put something in your calendar, then be present. I am here with you. Right? It's not, this was my highlight for today. I woke up this morning fired up. I made some adjustments to my slides this morning because I knew I had a massive responsibility to pour into you today. You made the time, and I'm committed to you right here, right now. There's nowhere else I want to be. Now, life did throw challenges at me today with a quick story, right? I was supposed to land here at Logan Airport from Alabama at 1:17 p.m., giving me plenty of time to make my way home, get settled in, and work from the comforts of my home with all of my equipment in front of me and my special microphone in front of me where there's no background noise and the intercom coming over here. But it doesn't matter. I shifted. I was agile. All an amazing team, and Lisa and Marissa and Raymar and everybody else to take over and says, you know what? This isn't rocket science. This isn't heart surgery, right? But I made it very important for me to pour into you. And I'm here, right? So I found a quietest corner I can to look in for, but I'm still doing it with you. I wasn't going to say, I can't do this. Marissa and Lisa take over because because um because Spirit Airline disappointed me because the pilots showed up late and didn't have enough staff. I wasn't going to let the rest of the world control my world. I'm going to do everything I can to control it. Got it? Okay. So thank you for being here, guys. If that's one lesson, once again, is set your calendar for the rest of the year. Do it
Yeah.
now. Lisa, share your PowerPoint again and show us what you did last year because it's important for people. It was like the third or fourth slide, Lisa. And
No,
for
you
you
mean,
who
oh,
did
that,
not,
yeah, it wasn't last, it was 2 years ago, but hold on.
okay, good. For those who don't have your calendar set for the whole year, you might want to just take a screenshot of Lisa's calendar. And she's an icon agent. She gives to her community. She gives to EXP. She has time for her family. She has time for herself. And so, not that one, but go up. It was evaluating. It was that slide where you evaluated your year. Yeah, there you go. Time to look back and review 2023. Okay, guys, take a screenshot of this and look forward. Here's a time to plan ahead for 2024. If you don't know what to do, we'll still do R&D. We call it rip off and duplicate. Rip off and duplicate Lisa's 2023 review. How much time how much time do you have on your calendar right now to take time off in 2024?
You have to
How
start
many
with that.
vacations? How many vacations? Exactly. You're going to start with that because the personal life review first. Remember, we are building this business. The business is there to serve our lives. Here's where the majority of adults mess up is they allow their business to control their lives instead of building a business that serves their life. Let's reflect upon that. Lisa, you're very good at that, right? Your business serves your life, not not your business runs your life. Comment on that a little bit because you're a master at that.
Well, I think, it's a couple things. Part of it's age. As you get older, your priorities do change. But I think I was taught early on, number one, that we all have to kind of look at the calendar, especially this time of year. That's why I love it so much, the fertile void, and be able to really say, what is most important to me? Well, what's most important to me is the love of my family, support of my family. I love to volunteer for the Realtor associations. I really love to be part of raising the bar for our profession. I don't know why, but I just really do. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel, I do know why. It makes me feel good. So, there
Yeah,
and there are things in the community. I love that do well, do good. I mean, when I do good things, I feel good, and that's why I put those things first and make them a priority. My
yes,
grandbaby, I take her a day and a half a week. I have since she was 16 months old. Is that always convenient? No. Do I sometimes say thank you God for Disney Plus because I have to do an offer deadline and do a spreadsheet? Do I sometimes
of
I go,
course.
what did I do with that offer deadline on Tuesday? But you do what you have to do, and still spending those precious moments with that. Oh my God, she'll be 3 in February. I mean, I can't get these days back. I can't get this time back. So I look at those things and I put those in first. I really do, and then I look at
Yep,
other commitments with my husband, with my family, with my community, and make sure that those are honored. And also then, time for myself, meditation, yoga, exercise. I put that absolutely in every single day. It's in my calendar. I don't do it every day, but it's in my calendar every day, and
yes.
other commitments for other kinds of community things that I'm involved with. So I really
I
do
think
make a priority of that.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, Marissa, can you share my PowerPoint? And so while Marissa opens up the PowerPoint here, um, yeah, here's the deal. Let's get real and let's get raw. Life throws challenges at us every single day. We will get thrown curveballs all the time. How we handle that is what's going to set us apart between the ultimate professional whose business still serves their life versus allowing all the negativity all of other people's challenges, all of our own challenges get in our way. Okay. Um, are there days when something upsets me? Are there things that happens in my life that things that happen to me that get me absolutely ticked off? Yes, but then I deal with it and then I move on. Why? Because I have to move on. I have to be the strong person for my family. I have to be the strong person for my business associates. I have to be the strong mentor of good mental, of good positive energy to my team when I'm with them. I can't bring that up at these meetings because if I bring it up, I'm going to bring them down as well. Right?
Mhm.
Okay. So okay, that's enough of that. Let's go through this. Lisa went through some high level uh, goal setting. After this call, we will put in the link in the chat. You grab all of this material to go through the line tuning, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. But as real estate professionals, after 18 years of doing real estate, this is what I personally practice for at least 15 years of my career. 3 years ago, I decided to shift from doing sales full time, about 36 closings a year, just like Lisa, a closing every 10 days. I wanted to shift that purposely to coaching, to training, to mentoring agents to build revenue share. So my plans have changed over the past 2 years. But 15 years before that, this was my plan. I'm going to share with you right now. And I updated this as early as this morning to make it real time. This is not an old PowerPoint from 3 years ago or 15 years ago. Next. What are your profit goals? Next, Marissa. What are your profit goals? You have to figure out how much money you need to make. Can someone advance the slide, please? So you have to figure out in your marketplace, what is your average sales point? And for the purpose of this call, I'm going to use $400,000 because an average sales price at $250,000, um, excuse me, at 2.5% commission. Okay, so work along with me, guys. Grab a pen and paper or grab your calculator and work with me for a second. For today, I'm going to teach you how to build a business plan for 2024 to make $150,000 to clear $150,000. Okay, so if the average sales price in the United States is $400,000, and that's true right now according to NAR, and your commission is 2.5%, that translates to $10,000 in gross commission income. Okay, well, I if you think about that, well, 10,000 of gross commission income means I got to bring in 15 deals to make 150,000. Well, no, it's tax season coming up. Well, you've got to pay Uncle Sam. So just for keepsakes, I'm going to add in 30%. You have to bump that number up by 30% because you'll pay Uncle Sam some taxes. So then you've got to make at least $195,000. But then guess what? With EXP, you're going to pay the company. If you cap at EXP as a residential agent, you're going to pay $16,000 next. So now you have to be looking at $211,000 in gross commission income. Pay taxes, pay EXP the cap. This assumes you're not iconing, because if you icon, you get it back. But I'm assuming you're not going to icon to clear $150,000 in your bank account, net, net, net. A lot of people says, man, I made $100,000. At the end of the year, I'm broke. Well, you forgot about all the other expenses, your marketing expenses, your company split, and Uncle Sam, right? Let's stop right here. Does anyone have a question in this first 4 slides? Does it make sense to you? If it does, please raise your hand. I can't see the rest of the screen because all I see is the PowerPoint. But if someone has a question, please. Okay, Corinne, what's your question?
Oh, sorry, no question. I thought you said raise hand that we acknowledge that we understood.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You acknowledged and understood. All right, next slide.
Paying attention.
You're paying attention. I love it. Next slide. Okay. So then after that, you've got to add in your operating expenses. Some of you might have Realtor fees, Zillow marketing fees, your signage, your business cards. Maybe you're using a dialer and you're paying for the dialer. Maybe you are upgrading your KV core ads and boosting it. Well, you got to figure out where all those expenses are, and you add those in as well. Okay. So in the spreadsheet that we're gonna in the folder that we're gonna give you, it allows you to break that down into really granular details to really have a good shot at your business plan. Okay. Spend an hour. For those who are not accounting savvy, maybe you need to spend 3 hours. If it's really bad, you might have to spend a whole day. But believe me, a full day, 8 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours, it's well worth it for the rest of your year. See, most agents give up and they don't plan, they don't write it down, they never have a plan, and they never chart a course towards success. Next, please. Starts with leads. Next. So, where do you get all this business from? Well, at least for agents who have access to KV Core, the Consumer Relationship Management Database, we have KV Core. But if you don't have it, it's okay. Try answering your phone for a while, agents. If the phone rings, especially from a number that you have saved in your contacts, pick it up. You know how hard it is to try to get people to pick up your own phone? Well, when they call you, try to pick it up, okay? And then you've got to track your calls, track your activity. I'm going to get into that, right? Um, do you have do you have your email all cleaned out? Maybe there's to-dos and follow-ups that's in your email. Some of you might have thousands of emails that you said, I'm going to get to it one day. I'm going to get to it one day. And next thing you know, a year goes by, 2 years ago, and you got 3,000 emails that you said you were going to get to that you didn't. Well, get back to it. Spend the next week getting back to your emails. Actually reply to those emails that's 3 years old. Maybe there's a lead there. Maybe there's a client there. Maybe there's something to talk about. Maybe there's an anniversary wish. Maybe there's a happy birthday. Maybe there's a congratulations on your 5-year anniversary of your house that you should have gotten to, but you didn't, right? Making texts and making phone calls is so important. It's the name of the game for anybody who's in high level sales is contacts. The number of contacts that we make each and every day is directly proportionate to the amount of business that we have that month and that year. Next, you can't be a secret agent and win in this game. Okay, so I have two programs here, two systems. The first one is this slide. It's 10-4-3. The next one is 25-4. Okay, and what does it mean? If you're a seasoned real estate professional like Corinne, like Thomas Gibson, like Lisa Planto, like Garrett Yan, who I see on this call, many of you are crushing the real estate business right now. Okay, you might just need this 10-by-4-by-3 system. What is it? Because you're already seasoned, your reputation precedes you, you have a database already, you're already disciplined, you already have some sort of referral business and new leads that come in. And if you just spend 10 hours a day calling into your spheres of influence, 10 calls a day, okay? I'd like to break that up between 5 calls with old friends and family and clients, and the other half with new people that you just met over the past month or even the past year. Break it up. 50% for your clients who've been there with you 3, 5, 10, 20 years. Get back to them. Lisa, yeah.
Hey, Tom, yeah, first of all, I love this, but just another trick here. What I know some people do is they do it alphabetically. So break up the alphabet with the months and just do A, B, C, like that, because that can, and then if you schedule it correctly, you can go through all of them twice a year. Go through
Yeah.
because you get 26 and 52, right? So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. It's another
No,
way
I love that. I
to
love
get up
that.
this
So
high.
Lisa does it by alphabetically. At the very end, I have a bonus for you. I'll show you my system of how I make it through the alphabet. Okay. Can someone lower Kareen's hand? It's please. All right. So 10 calls a day into your spheres of influence. Do it for 4 days a week, which means you still have 3 days off, guys. If you're really disciplined and you make 50 calls a week, right? 10 calls a day, 4 days a week is 40 calls a week. Believe it or not, I believe a lot of even icon agents don't even make that amount of calls a week. But if you do, um, and you make it just 3 weeks out of a month, guess what? 3 weeks out of a month times 12 months is only 36 months. We have 52 months out of, 3 weeks a month times 12 months is only 36 weeks. Let that settle in. There's 52 weeks out of the year. That still gives you 12 weeks off to spend time with your family, to spend time on vacation, where you don't have to work through vacation. Next slide, please. Now, for the rookies in the room, for the actually keep going, Marissa, and then we'll come back. Keep going. Thank you, and then we'll thank you. Now, for the rookies in the room, just to stay on track here, okay, you will need to make at least 20 calls a day. You got to double the activity. You don't have the spheres of influence. You don't have the reputation that precedes you. You don't have any referral business to glean off of, to lean on. So you better be making 10 calls a day into your spheres of influence. Half of it would be your friends and family, because nobody bought anything from you, but you got to let your friends and family and business associates know that you're in the business. And the other half needs to be brand new people you met at Starbucks, you met at a coffee, you sat on the plane next to drive coming home from Atlanta, Georgia to Boston, right? Just making calls. And for you guys, you got to do it 5 days a week, which still leaves you 2 days a week to enjoy, right? If you're a weekend warrior, then take Monday and Tuesday off. Maybe when I started the business, guys, Marissa knew that my days off that I took most off was Tuesday and Wednesday, because Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday were my busiest real estate days. I was showing houses. I was doing open houses on weekends, because that's the only time my clients had time. And then I was writing offers on Monday, negotiating them on Monday, and then finally Tuesday and Wednesday, the dust settles, and I can take some time off. It doesn't have to be on the weekends, right? If you're a weekend warrior, you got to do that. Mika, did you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure I'm getting this formula right. So 20 calls a day and 5 days a week, you mean 20 calls 5 days a week, right?
20 calls per day, 5 days a week, put you at 100 calls a week.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
4 weeks out of 4 weeks a month times 12 months is 48 weeks. That still gives you 4 weeks of vacation time where you don't have to call, because it's 52 weeks in the year. When you really time block correctly, you should be able to time block 4 weeks off where you don't have to make calls anymore, plus 2 days off a week, and still keep your sanity and still run a big, big business. If you do this, I promise you, you will clear that $211,000 a year in income. If you're in a market of $400,000 house, if you're a market of $800,000 houses, you might be surprised yourself and make more money. But you do this, and on November 3rd or November 4th of 2024, share with me your calendar for the past year. If you did all of this, I promise you, you will make $211,000. But if you don't text me your calendar and your to-dos for the whole year, that's because you didn't do all of this. You didn't make the 20 calls a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month. And then you won't share with me your activities because you knew that you disappointed yourself. All right, bring the next slide, please. The one that I skipped, Marissa. Thank you. It's all about talking to people. Okay, Jake, I'll take you right after the slide. It's all about having conversations with people about real estate. Okay, if you did this like I did, you would be you would get at least one transaction a week, one every 10 days. Okay, do this, guys. Do this for the month of November. I'm not saying starting in January. I'm saying starting in November. November, December, January, and February are the best times to generate leads, to hit the spring market fast. See, most people are winding down right now. They're winding down, thinking I'm going into Thanksgiving. I'm gonna enjoy the family. I'm gonna enjoy the holidays, the Hanukkah, the Christmases, the New Year's. And then after New Year's, it's so cold in New England. I'm gonna wait until the weather thaws out, and I'm gonna make calls to get my listings. Guess what? This is the 4 months when I was crushing real estate. that I had my listings lined up for the spring. I had my buyers lined up for the spring already. And I came out of the gate with listings after listings after listings. I had prepped my buyers from November, December, January, February. Trust me, this is the best time of the year right now for the next 4 months to capture massive market share. While everyone's getting fat and happy on eggnog and their Thanksgiving dinner, you're getting fat and happy filling your funnel with leads, filling your CRM with conversations, doing comparative market analysis, doing price, doing market reports for your sellers who you sold 10 years ago, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 years ago, give them a market update on their house. This is when you drop off apple pies for Thanksgiving to say thank you for your business. Who do you know right now who's selling, who needs to buy or sell real estate? Who's getting married this next year that might be looking to upgrade to their first home from renting? Who's having a baby that might need that extra bedroom? Who's downsizing? Whose kids are going off to college next September but might be looking to sell the big house to downsize to a smaller community, a smaller house? See, if you look at your database now and you look well into the future, you see all these things. It tells you where your business is coming from. All right, Jake, you had some questions. Next slide, Marissa. Jake, did you have a question? Jake, you're muted, my man.
Oh yeah. So the people that we called already, so should we call them again?
What did you talk to them about last time? Great question, by the way. Good, very good question. When was the last time you talked to them?
Excuse me?
When was the last time you talked to those people?
A while ago.
Look, what's a while ago?
A few months.
Okay, what do you think? Who thinks if Jake called if he made it through his whole list 3 months ago, should he call him again?
Yes.
Yeah. Jake, do you think that the market has changed since 3 months ago? Do you know the general public right now, the news that's all over the news right now is the lawsuits that came down? What a great opportunity to get in front of all your clients to give them your opinion about buyer agency. Let them know that you know how to be a buyer agent, that if they were going to hire you as their buyer's agent, that you will go to bat for them, that you will be that guy that earns the 2.5%, 3% commission compared to all the other people who's getting sued because they just collected a commission and they didn't really represent the buyer's best interest. Let the sellers know that no longer do they have to pay a buyer agent commission if they don't want to. That you can be their selective, exclusive seller agent, and we don't have to offer out 5%, 6% anymore, 5% anymore. We can just offer out 3%. I just saved you 2% or 3%, Mr. Seller. Does that make sense, Jake?
I was frozen by somehow. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, someone repeat what I just said. Who's paying attention? Repeat what I just said, please, for Jake's sake, because this is how it's gonna. Yeah, this is how you're gonna help yourself. Repeat what I said in a minute, please, to Jake.
Can I repeat?
Go. Yes.
Jake, this is a good time to follow up with those people you spoke, because every time something new comes up in the news, and recent news were these lawsuits of the NAR, and you can call your people and tell them that now a buyer's agent will have to be paid through buyers, and you're that agent that will deserve that commission, and that you will do everything for your buyers, and you're going to be there for them and update them with all the new things that's on the news.
Thank you very much, Nika. You're paying attention. I love it. Lisa.
Yeah, no, I put that in the chat, but please make sure you really totally educate yourself. Nika, that has not been settled for sure, but
Yeah.
just to be able to at least talk about the contours of that, and that it will be in appeals courts for many years, but that realtors still are the ones that have a code of ethics, and there's lots of things we can kind of say and distract, but I actually think that is going to be, it's in the news everywhere. And, mostly you just hear now in the news about how we just are, you look at how we're portrayed, no matter whether it's, however we're portrayed always is like goofy, profit oriented. We don't care about people. We just, make a ton of money and drive fancy cars and we're killers. And, some of those things are true sometimes, but for the most part, they don't really talk about the amazingly important role we play in the largest financial transaction of people's lives, and what we really do, and how no, they're not going to save money. If you look at unrepresented buyers, they typically pay a lot more for a property than if there was a shrewd negotiating buyer agent. So there's lots of things we can talk about, but they will be talking about that. And I think it's a very important thing to educate yourself about that. Go on NAR. I'll put a link in the website. Go on the NAR website that really talks about the facts of the case and the things that are important to make sure that we bring out. But it is going to be a topic of conversation for sure.
And
Also,
my point,
I wanted to
and
just
my point of all this, hold on, Marissa, I was like, and then you talk, Marissa. My point in all of this is you are making the calls, Jake, into your spheres of influence, while the other hopefully all of the other realtors that they know are not dealing with this news head on. You're the only one who stepped out that says, hey, I see what's going on in the market. Let me share with you my perspective. While everyone is hiding under the news, maybe they feel embarrassed, maybe they feel whatever, you aren't. You're just dealing with head on. And that sets you apart, my man. That's why 7%, the top 7% of real estate professionals earn 93% of the real estate income. It's a statistics that's out there forever, and it still reigns true today. The 93% of agents then are left with the crumbs of 7% of the real estate income. See, Jake, you can set yourself apart and be that 7% that makes 93% of the income. Marissa.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that topic very quickly, just because I had a conversation last night with a client. We're talking about it because it's all over the news and it's all bad news, right? And so I actually had to explain to her the difference between buyer agency and seller agency. But the only way she got it in her head to understand it isn't to quote NAR or to quote the lawsuit, but was for me to give her examples of what good buyer representation means. And I had to quantify it. Like I said to her, let's say I'm working with you and we're looking at properties. It's my job to make sure that you get the best house for you at the lowest price. And what that means is, let's say we're looking at a house and there are power lines potentially that are going through that area. It's my job as your buyer agent to protect you from making that kind of a bad investment, to look at all of the things that could impact your home ownership going forward, versus working for the seller and only looking at the seller's best interest and trying to get the most money for the property with the most qualified buyer, if you will. So you have to put it in examples for people to understand what kind of a professional that you are when you're talking about the issue. I'm sorry, that's a side topic, but I think it's important to know.
Corinne, did you have your hands raised? Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we also have to remember and remind people that it's the buyer that brings the money to the transaction table, right? So that's where the money's coming from.
Always. That has happened since the beginning of time. I've always taught that to our team, right? Buyers always bring the money to the table.
So it's
All
just
right,
how it's divided out is the semantics that we have to get down so that
Right.
it's, it works for everybody.
Very true. Good point. All right. So first was leads, making those 10 to 20 calls per week. I'm sorry, someone is going to say something. Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing about that, Jake, because you talked about whether or not you should call these folks that are in your sphere of influence, your past clients. And the answer is overwhelmingly yes, but also keep in mind that you are trying to position yourself as a market leader, as a professional. And so remember that you're not just calling to say, hi, how are you? But you want to actually provide some type of information that is valuable to the person that you're talking to. So it's not just picking up the phone 100 times. It's also picking up the phone and having meaningful dialogues that will set you apart from the next person. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Yeah, and as an example is, hey, that person you called 3 months ago, Jake. Let's say they live in Randolph, Massachusetts. Hey, did you know that the market in Randolph has changed substantially from 3 months ago? 3 months ago, the days on market. I'm making this stuff up, but you have it available for you in MAR, in NAR, in your KV Core market reports, right? Did you know that 3 months ago the average days on market in Randolph was 62 days, and now it's gone to 90 days? Which means if you're in the buying market, guess what? You have more buying power. Did you know? Whatever the statistics is, that's a really quick conversation to have, and that's it, Jake. You're on the phone, you're off the phone, and you're done. But you're giving them relevant real-time information. And they know without a doubt you're a realtor. You don't have to say you're in real estate. By giving them real estate statistics, they already know that you're in real estate. Got it? Did you know the most expensive house in Randolph? Can you believe it? We've never seen a $2 million home in Randolph, and it just hit the market. Wow. All right. So first was leads, making those conversations, making the phone calls, managing the database, adding to your database each and every day, and taking names off because you just sold them a house and moved them from buyer to owner, things like that. Next is marketing. You've got to have a marketing budget, right? For all of us who are realtors, and we're with EXP, we know that we have a fixed monthly technology fee of $85 a month. But that's $1,000 in our budget we need to add to. And then we pay our realtor fees, and then we pay our MLS fees, and then we pay our showing time fees, and then we pay our lockbox fees, whatever it is. Maybe it's $3,000 all year, all in, without the marketing on just listed cards, just sold cards, boosting campaigns, printing campaigns, and all that. Come up with a budget. You have to know it so that you know what the cost of your business is right here, right now, for the next 12 months. Next. Okay. And then you have to allocate yourself. Lisa showed a slide earlier. It was awesome. She showed from 2020, from 2019 to 2020 to 2021, 22, 23, how she shifted her budget, how she shifted her focus, where before she was heavy on Realtor.com, right? And then now she's gleaned off of Realtor.com and heavy on EXP, right? And you can see her trend in where her business is going. And I would venture to bet that she's getting more profitable as the years, as her business matures. She's getting more profitable. And the only way she knows she's more profitable is because she's tracking all of those metrics, right? Okay, number 3. If you don't have a large spheres of influence to call on, then you've got to leverage social media. Like it or not, if you don't have at least 1,000 people in your database, you got to lean on social media. Okay. There is a social media Facebook group that I'm an administrator of. It's called Social Media for Real Estate Agents. You should join that Facebook group. Okay. And we meet every other Wednesday. I'm not going to take time on this call, but basically the highlight level on social media is you want to post something of value. Don't say I just listed a house. I hate seeing that. New listing. Well, no kidding. It's a new listing. What about that new listing is cool? Is it in a nice luxury zone area? Is it in a building that hardly ever has inventory that comes up? Is it in a marketplace where demand is high and inventory is low and days on market, even though for the rest of the town, the market might be 60 days, but this particular neighborhood might be just 6 days. Say something that is specific about that. Maybe it's close to restaurants. Maybe it's across from a cemetery. And if you want quiet neighbors, here you go. This is the perfect house for you. Something special about the house, right? Step outside of the box and don't just tell a story. Is what I'm saying. That's how you end up getting a lot more getting a lot more leads into your channels, into your CRMs. Okay. The whole idea is for them to think about you when they're thinking of real estate. Do your weekly market reports, but add something of value to that weekly market report. Add something of value to that community, right? If you're in Southborough like me, on this time of year, we have Heritage Day. Heritage Day is when the town all comes together for a day of celebration. of eating, of drinking, of music, of entertainment. And it happens during this one weekend, right? Next month in December, we have Santa Claus coming to town in Southborough, and he literally lands on a helicopter, and he comes down, and he comes off of the helicopter, and he greets the kids. So if you're in Southborough, you want to talk about that, something special about the market. Next, please. Every community has something special. You want to be that community leader, the person that gives the audience information, especially on YouTube, guys. Go ahead.
Let me mention one thing too. Especially find something that's very different and unique about your community that you can really build on. I have a colleague friend out in the Vineyard who's a very successful agent, and she just put out a big piece about moving to Martha's Vineyard. It is not that easy. You know, I mean, moving to an island is a very different situation, and we almost have that here on the Cape. She really gave like a great overview of all the things you need to think about, and then referrals, the moving company and the boxing and whatever. And it was just, you know, it reminds me of how important it is for us to identify things that are very unique about our community. You know, you want to be that expert, but offer value that helps a new buyer or a seller leaving that area, because it's invaluable. That's the kind of value we can offer and feel good about.
Thank you, Lisa. All right. I said this earlier. My challenge for you is to get at least 1,000 people in your KD core database. If you don't have it, you've got to work your tail off right now to add at least 1,000 people. Next. Okay. Without 1,000 people, there's no way you're going to make $211,000 a year. Okay. So here's the challenge where most agents start calling into this sphere. They start with the A's and they never get past the M's. And then next week, they start with the A's again. They forget about the N's through the Z's. So if you don't follow this chart, then at least next time, pick up the phone and start with the N's or start with the Z's and work backwards. But here's a good one, okay? We put the link right here, okay? It's in Workplace, or just take a screenshot. Now, I say so right now, we are looking at November. We are in the first week of November, right? So here's what you do. Go to November week 1. See that, everybody? This week, you should be calling. You should be sending messages. You should be liking and comment people whose last name or first name, I say for most of you, do first name and last name. A lot of people say, well, Tom, is that a first name or last name? Or do both if you're ambitious. So like, send a text message to and comment and call people starting with W and Y. Text people with T's. And on social media, direct message them. Direct message the people starting with F. And then we have questions. Next week.
And that's the 10-4-3 or the 24-25-4. Is that it? Okay.
Thank you very much. Exactly. That is it. This is how we tie it all together. And then next week, you're going to call the R's, the O's, you're going to reach out to, in that format, the R's, the O's, the X's, and the M's. And then the third week, the G's, the V's, the Q's, the S's. And then the fourth week, the P's, the N's, the U's, the B's. When you do that, you really get diversified and get all into your database. Yes, Sebastian.
So you're calling, liking, and commenting the same people in the same week?
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. That's my system. And then I'm texting those people in that alphabet, and then on social media. Well, like and comment might be the same as direct. No, that's direct message on social media. So if I'm on LinkedIn, I'm sending them a message on LinkedIn. If I'm on Insta, I'm sending them a direct message on Insta. Facebook, direct message on Facebook. It's different from liking and comment on their posts. Got it? Because now you're engaging with them. And if you know algorithms, social media algorithms, liking a post doesn't really do much for you. But if you comment, it does a lot for you. Okay, and that's what direct message means. So if you follow this system, okay, you should be able to get through it every 3 months. Okay? Every 3 months, you're talking to somebody. So Jake, to answer your question, you're touching with people at least 4 times, personally touching with them 4 times a year. That does not include the drip email campaigns that you have them on. That doesn't include, the searches that you already have them on your MLS search or on your KV course search. That doesn't include you having them on your monthly newsletter. That's all in addition to this. Nika. Next slide. Nika, yep. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question about time frames that you put for these calls. Is there time frames or until you talk to 10, 20 people?
Yeah, great question. Time frame is if you know that you don't if you know that you can't get through the calls every day, then you better start at 8 a.m. Don't do it at 4 p.m. Does that make sense, Nika?
Yeah.
Until you get through it. And if you time block calling from 4 to 6 p.m. and you can't get through it, then tomorrow you better time block doing from 3 to 6 p.m. And if you can't get through that, then you better do 2 to 6 p.m. Some of you might need 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to get through it all.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are. I don't know whether people pick up the phone, whether people are excited when they see your cell phone coming through, or oh my God, I can't believe Nika's calling me. I can't wait to pick up the phone. Hey, mom, I'll call you back because Nika's calling me. Or are they reacting? Oh my God, she's calling me. I'm not picking up that phone. I don't know where you are in your database, how much affection you have with your spheres of influence. That's on you. That's not on me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, Marissa, you can stop this sharing the slide. I'm done. We hit it right on the mark here. Questions, comments, Lisa?
Yeah, I wanted to just mention on the calls, just like if you are doing pop buys, right? Like Brian Buffini used to always say, they're not plot buys. They're literally popping by. Sometimes we almost hope they're not there. Put it on the doorstep, take a picture and run. When you're making a call, absolutely it's okay to go, I'm just about to run into an appointment, but I've been thinking about you and I wanted to give you a call. So keep it short and sweet. That's when they're not going to go, oh God, it's Nikita calling. I'll never get off the phone. If you're quick, offer some value and go, oh my God, I've got to run in, and do it at like 5 of 4. So you can say, I've got an appointment in 5 minutes, but I was thinking about you, wanted to check in. Do you have any amazing holiday plans? I'm just checking with people this year, what they're doing with family. I don't know. Anyway, just a tip.
Exactly. Do you know how, like my birthday was a week ago today. I got bombarded with birthday wishes on social media. But the one that's the most memorable, the people actually picked up the phone and called me. They took the time, they picked up the phone and they called me, Tom, I know you've been bombarded. I just want to say, I thought about you today, go crush the day, have fun. And if I did that thing with happy birthday, they would sing me a happy birthday. Let's just put a smile on my face, but I remember them. And if the real estate agent, guess what? If I have a referral into their market in California, in San Francisco, in Texas, guess who I'm going to call? Guess who comes to my mind first? Because they took the time to just pick up the phone and called me. Yes, they all know it's my birthday. Yes, I know people know it's my birthday, but they still took the time. And that means a lot.
For the budget wise,
What's that?
for the budget.
For the budget, yeah.
So as a new agent, so how do they know like how much budget they gonna be spending, on the marketing?
Okay, great question. There's two. My standard answer is for all agents, not just new agents, but for all agents, you either have sweat equity, or debt equity. Debt, DEBT. One or the other. Pick and choose. And when you get good, it might be a balance of both. So if you're a brand new agent, you have all the time in the world, then you're going to put in sweat equity. What does that mean? Well, if you can't pay for inbound leads, then go door knocking. That's sweat equity. That's door knocking. It doesn't cost anything. It costs your time. But if you don't have time and you're making a transition from a $250,000, executive career that you have no free time on, and you're switching from $250,000 corporate job into hopefully making $250,000 in real estate, well, maybe you have the money. So then maybe you want to have debt equity because your time's worth a lot. You can't go door knocking. Maybe you want to pay for Google ads, pay for Facebook ads, pay for KV Core ads because your time is worth more. Debt equity or sweat equity, you decide, Jim. No matter what, you got to do the activity. Lisa.
Yeah, I just want to mention that we just put the link in the chat for the resource folder, as well as a YouTube video that I did a really great mastermind with Kim Allard, who's one of the smartest people I know in real estate, on buyer agency. She's really an expert on making sure you get compensated as a buyer agent. You know, as a seller agent, you're always guaranteed compensation. Quite frankly, as a buyer agent, you've never necessarily been guaranteed compensation. So Kim will put your head on straight. And that's that second link there, that YouTube video, which we have started to circulate around as all this has continued to go around. But she did one for us this summer, and she's funny and a great resource, and you'll enjoy that. So click on both those links so you have them open in your browser.
Guys, we're wrapping up the call. Was this helpful to everybody? If it's helpful, thumbs up. Give me a love. Give me a like. Yeah. Was it valuable?
Right.
Was it worth the time to time block the hour? I want to thank you. I want to thank Lisa Brenta for being our host. She's always giving of herself to help all of us. Love you for that, girl.
Well, love you for jumping in when I needed the help as well. So thank you, everybody, so much. Wrapping up another Lisa Parento Team Mastermind. Thinking about doing something on the new Zen list, the off-market opportunities that EXP agents are going to be are having access to for the December mastermind. But I will let folks know as we get closer. And again, thank you so much for your time. We know it's valuable. We hope that you got some value. We will be sending out a recording of this webinar to everyone who's been here, and also to those who were not able to make it. I think we had 39 registered, so there were a lot of people that said they were going to time block it, and we had about 50%. So congratulate yourselves
All
for
right.
showing.
Congratulate yourselves for showing up. Also. All right, guys, go crush the weekend. If you're working this weekend, go crush it. If you're taking the time off, go crush the time off too. You like what I just learned, right? Thumbs up
Tom,
there. Dude,
Tom.
double thumbs up. You get all this. You get the celebration.
I don't think
Only
I have.
on a cell phone.
Yes, I do. Woo!
Did you see that? 2 thumbs up gets you there. All right. Who had a question? I'll stick
I'm
around for
gonna
some
keep doing
questions.
that.
Yep. Who had a question? I'll stick around.
I had a question. Just what is the suggestion for the calendar? Is it like Google Calendar, or there is?
Yeah.
Because this
I
is
love Google Calendar because it's free and it allows you to color code. And most people have a Google email address. You can invite people to that. Maybe someone else finds something else that's better. I love the Google Calendar compared to the Apple Calendar. Apple Calendar, as far as I know, doesn't allow me to color block. Okay, and it's very important because color blocking. Not only do I time block, but I double it up by color coding it. Right? When I look at my calendar for the week, for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, I can see how much personal time just by looking at the colors that I have blocked. How much color did I do? Did I focus on helping my revenue share organization grow? How much time did I spend on my real estate investments and flipping and Airbnb hosting? How much time do I give to my community and community service? Just by looking at the colors, I know what percentage of my time is.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one thing I'm working on. Is
Okay. All right, good. All right, guys.
Thank you, Lisa. That was great.
Oh, my pleasure, Nika. Very nice to meet you. Hope our paths cross again soon.